Beneath Michigan's tranquil landscapes lies a realm of unanswered questions, a hidden record of civilizations whose stories have been swallowed by time. The lakes, the forests, the very earth itself guard relics of a past so distant that even the most advanced science struggles to comprehend their origins. In the stillness beneath Grand Traverse Bay, shapes in stone trace patterns older than memory. Deep in the heart of the thumb, silent carvings remain etched into ancient rock, their meaning locked away like a language the world has forgotten. Far to the north, a place once known as Ezabigadec Asin stands at the crossroads of ancient life, where trade, culture, and mystery converged. In the south, towering mounds rise from the soil, silent monuments to a vanished people. And scattered across the state, faint traces linger, echoes of lives and worlds erased from history. These are not legends. They are remnants, fragments of something vast, complex, and unknowable. Tonight, we descend into the shadows of time to uncover the top 5 ancient mysteries in Michigan that science can't explain. 1. The Sunken Circles, Michigan's forgotten megaliths beneath the waves. Beneath the cold, shifting waters of Grand Traverse Bay lies a formation that has puzzled researchers for decades, a ring of massive stones hidden from view for thousands of years. Discovered in the late 20th century during a routine underwater survey, the arrangement stretches across the lakebed in a near-perfect circle, its geometry too deliberate to be the work of nature alone. Some of the stones bear strange markings, weathered and eroded, yet still visible beneath layers of sediment and aquatic growth. The location itself is a world preserved in darkness. Here, the water is still and heavy, the temperature biting even in summer months. Divers who have ventured down describe a silence so complete it feels like entering a forgotten chamber. It is a place frozen in time, untouched since an age when this bay was not a body of water, but dry land. A time when glaciers had only recently retreated, and early peoples roamed a vastly different Michigan. Geological evidence suggests that these stones were placed more than 9,000 years ago, before rising waters submerged the land. The scale and precision of the circle defy the expectations of what small, mobile bands of hunter-gatherers were believed capable of creating. No tools, no settlements, no signs of daily life have been found nearby. Only this silent arrangement, standing alone in the depths. The purpose of the sunken circles remains an unanswered question. Were they markers for celestial events? A ceremonial gathering place? A memorial to an event now lost to history? Without artifacts or written records, the formation exists in a vacuum of meaning, a monument to a culture that left no other trace. And so, the stones endure in their underwater tomb, their alignment intact despite the passage of millennia. Each dive to their resting place brings no revelations, only deeper questions. The water keeps its secrets well, and the circle remains, hidden beneath the waves, a mystery carved into the very foundation of the Great Lakes. From the depths of Grand Traverse Bay, our journey moves to the windswept land above, where another enigma lies etched into ancient stone. 2. Whispers in Stone, the enigma of the Sanilac Petroglyphs. In the quiet heart of Michigan's Thumb region, deep within a forest clearing, lies a slab of ancient sandstone that bears markings older than the written history of this land. Known as the Sanilac Petroglyphs, these carvings cover the rock's surface in an intricate tapestry of lines, shapes, and figures. Some are easily recognizable, human-like forms, animals, celestial symbols, while others resist any attempt at interpretation, their meaning locked away in time. Archaeological surveys suggest the carvings may date back hundreds, perhaps thousands, of years, created by the early indigenous peoples of the Great Lakes region. The site was likely a place of gathering, a point where communities converged to share knowledge, exchange goods, or honor spiritual traditions. Yet, the petroglyphs themselves tell no clear story. Their arrangement seems deliberate, yet, without the cultural key to decode them, each symbol stands as an isolated whisper from a vanished language. The first recorded account of the site comes from settlers in the 19th century, who stumbled upon the exposed rock after heavy rains washed away the topsoil. Since then, erosion, weather, and human interference have slowly worn down the carvings, blurring their edges and fading their detail. Preservation efforts now shield the stone from further damage, but each passing season claims more of its once sharp etchings. Among the petroglyphs are symbols unlike anything found in other regional sites. Some figures appear to combine human and animal traits. Others seem to map constellations, and a few are so abstract they could represent concepts lost entirely to modern understanding. No definitive translation exists. Every attempt to read them ends in uncertainty, the truth concealed beneath centuries of silence. The Sanilac Petroglyphs remain a bridge to a culture whose voice no longer speaks, a fragment of history carved into the living rock. They stand in the open air, exposed to the wind and sun, yet their meaning remains hidden, whispers in stone that no one can fully hear. From this sacred sandstone, our path now leads northward, to a place once known as a great crossroads of the ancient world, Ezabigadec Asin. 3. Crossroads of the Ancients, the lost world of Ezabigadec Asin. In the far reaches of Michigan's Upper Peninsula, where dense forests give way to open stretches of ancient shoreline, lies a place once known as Ezabigadec Asin, the place of the Big Rock. Long before modern maps marked this land, it served as a vital hub for the peoples of the Great Lakes, a meeting ground where trade routes, migration paths, and cultural exchanges converged. Archaeological evidence points to centuries of activity here. Stone tools, fragments of pottery, and traces of hearths have been uncovered, each one speaking to the steady rhythm of human life over generations. The location's position between waterways made it a natural waypoint, connecting distant tribes from regions hundreds of miles apart. Goods from far-off places, copper from the Keweenaw Peninsula, shells from distant coasts, all passed through this ground. Yet the true significance of Ezabigadec Asin may extend beyond commerce. Some researchers believe it may have been a spiritual or ceremonial center, a place where alliances were formed and traditions shared under the watchful presence of its great rock landmark. Oral histories from local indigenous communities describe it as a place of gathering and exchange, where knowledge flowed as freely as goods. But over time, the vibrant life of Ezabigadec Asin faded. Trade routes shifted, populations moved, and the great meeting place was abandoned to the wilderness. The rock still stands, but much of the surrounding area bears little trace of the thousands who once walked here. What remains is scattered and incomplete. Artifacts without context, fragments of structures whose purposes can only be guessed at. The reasons for its decline remain uncertain. No records mark the moment when its role ended, and no single event explains why a crossroads of such importance would be left behind. The silence of Ezabigadec Asin now stretches across centuries, its meaning reduced to the faint outlines of a once thriving world. From this vanished meeting ground, our journey turns southward, to where towering earthen monuments rise from the soil, the enduring mounds of mystery. 4. Mounds of Mystery, the silent giants of Niles. In the fertile river valleys near present-day Niles, Michigan, vast earthen mounds rise from the ground like the frozen waves of an ancient sea. Their slopes are steep, their shapes deliberate, their presence unmistakable, silent giants standing watch over the land for centuries. Early accounts from the 19th century describe dozens of these formations, some stretching more than 20 feet high and hundreds of feet across, dominating the landscape in patterns too precise to be the work of chance. When settlers first encountered the mounds, they found them overgrown with trees whose age suggested the structures had stood undisturbed for hundreds, perhaps thousands, of years. Excavations revealed burial chambers, fragments of tools, and artifacts unlike anything produced by the region's later inhabitants. The scale and complexity of the designs, some in geometric forms, others arranged in clusters, challenged contemporary beliefs about the engineering capabilities of the indigenous peoples known to live here in recent centuries. The mounds weren't randomly placed. Many align with natural features, river bends, or the cardinal points of the compass. Some appear to form part of a larger network, hinting at an organized effort by a society capable of long-term planning and large-scale construction. Yet, no written records, no surviving oral histories, and no definitive cultural lineage remain to identify their builders. Time has not been kind to these silent giants. Agriculture, construction, and erosion have erased many of them from the landscape, leaving only fragments of their once grand shapes. Those that survive are now preserved as historical sites, though the earth still holds the unanswered questions of their origin and purpose. Were they purely ceremonial, markers of territorial boundaries, astronomical observatories? The truth lies buried beneath layers of soil and centuries of silence. From these monumental earthworks, our path leads to the faintest of traces, the final echoes of lives long vanished, scattered across Michigan's ancient past. 5. Echoes of a vanished people, traces of Michigan's lost civilizations. Across Michigan's forests, shores, and river valleys, fragments of a distant past emerge from the soil, shards of pottery, worked stone, tools of copper, and patterns carved faintly into the land itself. They appear in no single place, belong to no single known culture, and span time periods so distant that they seem to blur the boundaries of recorded history. Each discovery is a solitary echo, carrying the faint resonance of peoples whose names and stories have been erased. Archaeological finds suggest that long before the tribes known today, Michigan was home to earlier civilizations, skilled in trade, artistry, and resource use. Traces of their presence appear in isolated locations, copper artifacts found far from their mining sources, stone tools fashioned from materials originating hundreds of miles away, and earthen structures unlike those built by later inhabitants. These hints point toward a web of connections stretching across the Great Lakes region, a network that once pulsed with movement and exchange. Yet these civilizations left no written records. Their languages are gone, their traditions unrecorded, their settlements reclaimed by forest and field. In many cases, only the faintest signs remain. A foundation stone buried beneath a century of roots, a worked blade lying in the silt of a riverbed, or the remnants of an earthwork obscured by modern development. The absence of continuity deepens the mystery. There is no clear line linking these early cultures to those encountered by European settlers centuries later. The knowledge, the craftsmanship, and the reasons for their disappearance remain locked away in the silence of the land. These remnants are more than artifacts. They are unanswered questions scattered across the state, each one a fragment of a story without its middle or end. They remind us that whole worlds can vanish, leaving only faint impressions behind. And as the trail of these echoes fades into obscurity, Michigan's ancient mysteries remain, enduring, unbroken, and silent, their truths waiting somewhere beyond the reach of time. Across Michigan's waters, forests, and valleys, the traces of the past endure, not as complete stories, but as fragments suspended in time, circles of stone hidden beneath the waves, symbols carved into silent rock, a crossroads where cultures once converged, earthworks rising from the soil, and faint echoes of civilizations lost to history. Each stands as a reminder that the land we walk today is layered with worlds we will never fully know. The answers, if they still exist, remain locked away in the depths of a lake, in the grain of weathered sandstone, in the soil beneath our feet. And perhaps it is in their silence that these mysteries hold their greatest power. For they remind us that even in the age of science, the unknown still lives among us. If you have found this journey into the shadows of history compelling, consider liking this video and subscribing for more stories shrouded in mystery. Which of these ancient enigmas do you believe hides the deepest truth? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your theory may guide us toward our next investigation.